warm welcome to It's My Life, the program that brings you face to face with country's top politicians. This week we are in southern India, in the state of Andhra Pradesh, in the beautiful and historical city of Nizamabad. Our guest is a very special person, a dynamic and enterprising face of Congress, who not only is a Lok Sabha MP from Nizamabad, but also a renowned social worker and someone who knows law at the back of his hand. Let's meet Madhu Goud Yaskhi this time. Congress Lok Sabha MP Madhu Goud Yaskhi, born on December 15, 1960, represents the constituency of Nizamabad in Andhra Pradesh. Born to Kistaya Gaur and Sulochana, he is the second among 6 sisters and 3 brothers, but was later adopted by his father's younger brother. With a bachelor's degree in arts from Nizam College, Madhu has specialized in law with an LLB and an LLM degree from the University of Delhi and PG College of Law, Hyderabad. Yaskhi got elected to Parliament for the first time in 2004 from Nizamabad and got re-elected in 2009. One of the unique features of his re-election is that 6 out of the 7 MLAs from his parliamentary constituency are from the non-Congress parties. Madhu Yaskhi has also been a New York attorney and established international legal and trade consultants. But moved by the plight of the farmers committing suicides due to crop failures and high debts, he left USA and returned to India. Day without yoga for Madhu Yaskhi Goud is just incomplete. And after this rejuvenation, a high-powered game of badminton is a must to keep him on his toes. Right now we are at Madhu Goud Yaskhi's office cum residence, and you can see in the backdrop a lot of people who've come in with the petitions, and few of them have even come here to felicitate him. Madhu always has people waiting at his residence from across Nizamabad, bringing petitions in the hope that he will address their problems. Time now for an emotional bonding with people suffering from leprosy. These physically challenged have been abandoned by their near and dear ones, but their only hope is their MP.
They are not getting pension because the 4th fingerprint is needed.
Okay, this is quite
So
a genuine
disconformity.
problem.
It is genuine problem. They can't have fingerprint of this unfortunate people. So now they spoke to the collector and the Karobar PD.
First stop at the Anganwadi Centre for Kids. Accompanying us are a team of French designers who've been roped in to improvise it as a modern state-of-the-art centre. But Madhu's surprise visit to the Anganwadi Centre got the managers on a sticky wicket, who were not prepared. Madhu took the officials to task when he found open syringes lying on the floor and cooking being done in the play area.
ఇవాళ ఎంపీ వస్తుందని తెలుసున్నప్పుడే ఈ పరిస్థితి ఉంటే రోజు ఏం పరిస్థితి ఉంటది వాళ్ళ ఆరోగ్యం కొరకు మీరు బాలింతలను ఇక్కడ తీసుకొచ్చినప్పుడు, ప్రెగ్నెంట్ ఉమెన్ గర్భవతులను తెచ్చినప్పుడు, చిన్నపిల్లలు ఉంటున్నప్పుడు నీడిల్స్ ఆ విధంగా పడేస్తే నీడిల్ ఇచ్చిన వాళ్ళకి ఎలాంటి రోగం అని ఉండొచ్చు? నేను either you suspend her or issue memo or I will take action against you.
No, definitely.
This is the biggest mistake. This cannot be tolerated.
Okay.
Or you will be suspended.
Madhu Goud Yaskhi in his personal capacity is working extensively to provide financial education to the rural unemployed youth. We are at the Gautami College of Nizamabad right now, which has provided logistics to the Bombay Stock Exchange Institute. Now let's find out what this program is all about.
In order to understand easily and
Very good morning to everyone. So this is briefly about the Bombay Stock Exchange, BSc. The Bombay Stock Exchange has through their foundation, Corporate Social Responsibility, they have initiative in the rural areas where graduates or students who passed +2 intermediate get this 45 days training. Each student, they're spending about 15,000 to 20,000 rupees.
I'm sure you guys will do a great job.
So good luck. All the best for all of you.
Time now to enjoy some speedboating. And now for a surprise. Madhu Yaskhi, the acrobat. See this.
Madhu, one unique thing which I really observed in your constituency, and that was your posters and your banners were completely missing out. Do you really believe in not putting the posters?
I feel it's a criminal waste of money.
Okay.
So people recognize or they vote because the performance what you do it in the past 5 years. So these posters and newspaper ads during birthdays and other times, it's completely waste of money.
You have been an attorney in New York, someone who knows law at the tips. When you see the kind of legal system which is now coming up and the kind of specifically coming to the face-off between the judiciary and the legislature, which recently we've seen over a number of issues, do you see this as a sign of an evolving democracy?
In fact, it is, because we still, though we call it ourselves the largest democracy, but we're still a young democracy, just 60 years plus. Secondly, when political system fails, the judicial system activates. But judicial activism is also not.
But now
good
we
for
see the vice versa.
But too much of judicial activism is also not good for the democracy.
Okay.
Our constitution clearly demarcated judiciary, executive and
So
legislative.
do you admit the fact that there is too much of judicial activism happening right now in the country?
Yes, to an extent. If you look at the Chief Justice of the country, very critical of the performance of the former Chief Justice
Right.
of the country. Forget about the lower judiciary. So there is something wrong in the judiciary system too.
So you feel that with the judicial appointments commission coming into force, these kind of problems could be addressed?
Yes, it will be. I think some of the Chief Justices, while supporting, they're suggesting some measures to be more effective system. I think that's better, because in democracy, the elected representatives are supreme. People elect. At least we elected representatives have every 5 years there's a test. For judiciary.
The judiciary,
and
there's no
others,
test. Madhu, you've been a strong believer of small states because small states, you said, bring stability. Do you think that when Telangana is formed, Telangana becomes a reality, you will be able to tackle all the problems which the Telangana region has been complaining of?
Well, as I said, my experience, what I've seen in the world, Germany, you have every city is a state. In our own country, look at Punjab after division, Haryana and Himachal, Punjab, Goa to Delhi, the Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand. They're doing progressing much faster than the parent state.
Common thread between states like Chhattisgarh, Orissa and Andhra Pradesh have been Red Corridor. But once Telangana is formed, are you hopeful that you will be able to tackle the problem of the Naxal terror?
See, the Naxal problem has to be looked into or tackled completely different. It has nothing to do with the smaller states.
Right.
The so-called Red Corridor, the apprehensions or people expressing doubts about or it may extend to this area. There's enough studies have been taking place. There's no link between making a Telangana state will expand the Red Corridor.
No, but when you talk about displacement and development, a lot of it has got to do with the way the state government is managing those things. For example, now when you talk about states like Chhattisgarh, of course, the other parameters of development have improved in terms of health, in terms of education. But as I told you, I mean, the Naxal terror still exists. And we've always seen that the center passes the buck to the state passes the buck to the center. So that's what the real concern is after Telangana is formed.
The reality is different. As I said, the Nizamabad was one of the affected district. If I go to some of the 20 minutes away from the district headquarters, the people ask for drinking water, school building. These are basic needs.
Your priority, you're saying, is would be drinking water, education, but then internal security is another big challenge. And the same people whom you will provide drinking water and you will provide education, they will just come back and point fingers at you saying that internal security is another major issue. Why are you not able to solve that? How will you do that?
The recent statement, which is worth mentioning here, the Naxal leader mentioned, if Telangana is created, we will lay our arms and we will surrender.
Okay.
What best example you need if Telangana is created, the Naxalism going to come down rather than increase. After 1969, when the popular movement was suppressed by the force, the youth have resorted to going to the Naxalism when their demand was not met.
But there was also
so
a perception.
By creating a separate state, you rather suppress or control the Naxalism than increasing in it.
Break Tarvada Malli Kalusdam. Well, Madhu, is my Telugu all right?
Parvaledu, that means not bad, so you're okay.
Well, let's take a short break at this point in time and return with lots more on Madhu Goud Yaskhi. Back in a moment.
Nizamabad being a Muslim-dominated area, visit to a madrasa is always on the agenda.
Is Urdu the only medium they are learning, or they are learning other languages as well? Urdu. Urdu, Urdu and Arabic both. Okay. But what about English? English subjects like English and all, they are okay. So what about setting up things like computer? Do you have anything of that sort in your mind? Maybe give
We have
computers.
a program as Mr. Rahul Gandhi visited Madrasas in UP and
Right.
since then even through HRD ministry and the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan program also providing computers madrasas also. Here in this part of the region in Hyderabad and other districts, during Nizam's rule it is Urdu is the official language. Whatever community, the medium of instructions was Urdu. So it is important for us to protect our mother tongue, Urdu, Telugu, along with learning English or computers, which is also important. But it is also important for our children should learn our languages, our culture, our traditions is also equally important.
Madhu, with his MP-led funds, has initiated a number of welfare schemes for women, in partnership with the NGOs.
Madhu Yaskhi has used his MP lab funds for setting up training institutes like these, where women learn cutting, tailoring and embroidery, and after completing a 4-month course, they become self-employed women. So basically with MP Labs, you've also provided work for the infrastructure like machines, the sewing machines, embroidery machines?
Building,
Okay.
stitching machines, some computers.
Okay.
Computer,
Okay.
zigzag के machine, furniture, table, cutting table वगैरह सब
Okay.
बाद में साफ ऐसे दिए तो आए.
Madhu, when you're on your constituency trips, then your lunch generally falls in place in time, or you
not
generally
at
get delayed?
Completely delayed. It's like it's 5 o'clock we're having lunch. So there's no timing. When you're in public meetings and lunch dinners are crazy time.
So any special preference you give from beforehand that you want to eat this or that?
My favorite is Hyderabadi biryani.
But another question which I wanted to ask you, Madhu, was that Nizamabad is a very communally sensitive area. But do you feel that we've had riots in Muzaffarnagar, in UP we've seen recently, and I mean the death toll has been rising. So is it easier to contain, because not very many unpleasant incidents have been reported from Andhra. So is it easier to contain riots in places like Andhra as compared to UP and Bihar because of the literacy level which exists with the people? What has it got to do with that?
Well, as you rightly said it, Nizamabad is one of the sensitive area. But when I came back to country and joined politics, one of the madrasas we visited was headed by Naboo Madani, was a former RSTV member. His group is more for national integration, communal harmony. When they went for asking for a vote, they asked me, don't ask us a vote for quoting what happened in Gujarat.
Okay, that's interesting.
So he specifically asked me, what happened in Gujarat, yes, we know. But if you are coming and asking that this is what the BJP does and you want to from Congress and want to vote, we won't. So I said, I grew up in the old city of Hyderabad. Here in Hyderabad, as Hindu, we celebrate Muharram together, Dasara together with the Muslim brothers. It is Berozgari and Garibi which is causing communal frictions in the country.
Community center, you were saying you've made it through the MP lab.
Right. This is one of the community center which gave 5 lakhs rupees.
Okay.
So they built this center. So they're going to have their monthly meetings or their community meetings or small functions.
But are you happy with your journey so far in politics?
Well, it is more than the happiness, it's a commitment.
Okay.
Many of my friends ask me, do I enjoy politics? And I said it's not enjoyment, but it's a commitment. I may not able to change the entire state, but we are happy also to getting over 50 years of struggle, the separate state of Telangana, which will obviously bring in, look at the smile on these small kids. If you say Telangana, they'll all say, Jai Telangana! So this is the response from small kids to the bigger people. So this is why people wanted Telangana.
Welcome back. You're watching It's My Life with Madhu Goud Yaskhi, and joining me now is Madhu with his wife Shruti and his wonderful daughter Gagana. Welcome both of you on the show.
Thank you.
Let me begin by asking you, Madhu, you were a New York attorney, and what made you abandon and give up that career and come into politics?
Oh, it sounds like a film story, but in my own life experience, see, I'm not from political family.
Right.
First graduate, first one to live abroad. We have 10 siblings, and difference what made in my own life right after my father's death, took responsibility to look after the family. But seeing the farmers' deaths in Andhra Pradesh during NDA and Telugudesam rule, though the Hyderabad known as high-tech city, but over 3,000 cotton farmers around Warangal or other districts in Telangana committed suicides. So the big story in Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and though I wasn't a student in politics, but never in active politics.
Okay.
So one day I decided, what do you want to do in your life? End of the day, you don't eat gold biscuits, but you have to eat the roti, dal chawal only.
When you came to India, your entry into India was planned, but your entry into politics wasn't planned at all.
No, that was not at all.
We had initially started a foundation because our aim was social service.
Okay.
So even before we moved to India or even before we entered politics, we started the foundation to help people in India.
Shruti, it's not easy to give up a job like what you were in. Very few endocrinologists, especially people who've specialized in women health. You're one among them. I'm sure it's not easy to give up a job like this. It's a well-paid, highly paid job. You've just given it up for sake of coming to India?
Yeah, see, as a doctor, it doesn't matter where you work, as you are giving service to people. So what even he was suggesting and what we thought about, my parents are here and my services are probably more needed here.
Now when you look back at his career as well as your career, do you really feel that you've made that kind of a little difference which you really wanted to in the initial years?
Yes, I think so, because whether it is Hyderabad or Delhi or wherever we have lived, I have conducting camps in Nizamabad, and it made a lot of difference.
And you made a very important point when you talk about time. In fact, when you come to the time of you people spending with each other, basically you have foots in two worlds. How do you really manage?
Yeah, that's the cost on family life. You have to live with it, and joining politics it's not easy. It's too much pressure on the family life. Being both of us professionals and two daughters and family to look after, so that is the price one should prepare to when you get into politics.
Time is the biggest casualty in the political families because most of the people say they don't get enough time to spend with each other. How do you really make it possible? Because your elder daughter is also in US, Madhu in his constituency, you have your younger daughter studying here. How do you really make it possible?
I think, like I said, it's the mindset and how well you manage your time and what, within the time, how you use it, I think is basically what it is.
Let me talk to now Gagana. Gagana, you tell me, when your dad is not here, I'm sure you may really miss his presence, but when he is not able to make it to the parent-teachers meeting, or when you miss those moments, those little moments when maybe you can go out to the theatre with him?
Yeah, sometimes.
Suppose when he's not here, then what do you do?
I go with my mom or my sister, whoever's here.
But what is that one quality about your dad which you really like?
His humor.
So which personality you like better? You loved him as a New York attorney, or you like Madhu Goud Yaskhi, the politician?
Either one. I don't really see the difference.
Oh, so you're not able to distinguish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I hardly spend time with them. So it's all because Suchi, it's her contribution raising the children.
What is the road ahead now for you, maybe 10 years down the line? How do you really want to see yourself?
Well, the biggest my satisfaction is the Congress president and party in UPA conceding to make a separate state of Telangana,
Okay.
which I've been fighting for. And that is my area, the people, father, grandfathers, that's the dream. The next 10 years, my role in reconstruction of Telangana.
But how do you really want him to grow as a politician? Then also, he's heavily into his legal life as well. You have a law firm which is running. So how do you really want to see him forward now?
I think, like you said, I think we should make it worth our move to India. So that will give us the greatest satisfaction is at the end of the day, we should be able to sit and say, yes, we have made a difference.
Okay, Madhu, wish you all the best and wish all your dreams come true and your entire family. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thanks, Shruti.
Thank you, Neelu.